Good morning, everyone. Here we are. It is, of course, the Fruit Nut News. To be honest, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't actually realise what the time was. We seem to have done a fucking timeline jump somewhere along the line. Unbelievable. Now, lots of energy going around. You're probably going to be feeling it. Maybe you're going to be, a little bit nauseous, etc., etc. Headaches, itching skin, all kinds of stuff. And of course, it's all down to the fact that the Artemis toilet has broken down, ladies and gentlemen. So, good morning to you all. It is, of course, the 4th of the 4th, 2026, the 4th of April, 2026. And, bank holiday weekend, of course. So quick hello to everybody this morning. Chris Taylor, Joyce Guest, Lisa's in, Sharon, Sheila, Bill, Lillian, Olivia, Graham, Jill, Angie, Angela, Anne, Diane, Shepherd, Brenda Corcoran, Alan Spadge, Sue Allen, Yvonne Keeley, Starry Knight's in, Jeanne Lacey's in, Dave Ling's in, Tracy Bradshaw, and where we go on, we go all. So, good morning, everyone. Hope we're all okay. Well, Saturday, of course. Saturday today. Not such a bad day up in the northeast of England. Now, apparently, Storm Dave was supposed to be somewhere, but I don't actually know where Storm Dave has got to. Apparently yellow weather warning, wind, rain, snow, sleet, hail, lightning, thunder, possibly red yellow warning, tsunami, what else? Tornadoes, all kinds of stuff really, but not sure where Dave is. He's certainly not up in the northeast of England anyway. Maybe he might be a little higher up in the atmosphere. Who knows? Okay. So, the King. Now, this was an interesting one. You may have picked up on this or not. I don't know. Now, during Easter, apparently there's I don't know whether it's a tradition or what. It's called Maudie Money. Maudie Money. Now, apparently it's to reward the community heroes. And this year, the King, I mean, get this. I mean, think of the billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of pounds that the King actually has. And he takes off the NHS, he takes off the police, he takes off every fucking body, this King does. And so he gave purses of money, 77p to 77 men and 77 women. Now, I just want to it wasn't £77, it wasn't £770, it wasn't £7,700, it wasn't even £7 million. No, 77 pence. Now, I don't know about you, but I really don't know about you, but we have to have the tightest Muslim king in the world. In the world, ladies and gentlemen, in the world. The king has got to be now renamed the Muslim Stooge. Know what I mean? You know, honestly, unbelievable. Now, here's an interesting one as well. I didn't know this, but apparently 40% of pubs are basically privately run. And 40% of pubs are not making any money. 40% of pubs are struggling. And some bright spark has realised that all of these pubs, these 40% of pubs, are going to have to close at some stage within the next 5 to 10 years. Sounds, of course, a little bit monumental, but actually, of course, it's just down to money. These people are just not making any money. And, of course, not only is it about, the food and the drink, it's like a community thing as well. I mean, old people, like we have a lot of pubs in the northeast of England here. And a lot of people in our area, they will go to different pubs, different weeks to get something to eat, et cetera, and it's a bit of a community thing, especially when you live out in the sticks. So very interesting, very interesting. Now, nipping over to America. Pam Bondi's been fired. Pam Bondi has been fired. Now, why Pam Bondi's been fired is open to speculation, but we're going to do a little shout out to Pam. Now, Pam, we've not really had all of the Epstein files. A lot of it's been redacted for all kinds of different reasons. So now that you are not employed by, of course, the Trump administration, you are a citizen of freedom, so to speak. Our suggestion is that you open your mouth and you tell the truth and you make sure that you get on the right side of history. Because let me tell you, if you don't do that, the lake of fire is awaiting you. And let me tell you, the lake of fire is not an overly impressive place to be, especially when the devil is breathing down your neck. And we've also heard this morning that Kash Patel has also been fired. Now, Kash was supposed to go in and rip up the CIA and fucking pull up trees and do all kinds of heroic things for, of course, the Trump administration. Unfortunately, he never really did a lot, really. He seemed to be well out of his depth. And he seems to be, he seems to have not done the right thing. So once again now, Kash, you are, of course, a public citizen. So once again, you have the chance to open your mouth or keep it shut. And remember that we will, of course, be knocking around at 40,000 feet watching what you do. So there you go. Meanwhile, the Artemis clown show, should we say clown show? Yes, we should. Should we say fake? Yes, we should. You will have noticed, of course, that what do they call it? Not pilots, the astronauts escaped in a pod. And this apparently is an emergency escape situation, or maybe it isn't. Maybe it's actually And this was a very interesting thing. I can't. What was the film? Now was it in? It was in one of the James Bond films, and it was also in Men in Black. That's it, Men in Black. It was actually in the Men in Black film. Now, this is where you saw Will Smith and the other geezer having a big fight with that big geezer with glasses. And they managed to jump into the escape pod and basically jump down from the astronaut as it took off, etc., etc., etc. So this has obviously been featured before. Now, if you were paying attention to the Artemis launch, you will have noticed that this escape pod was used. Very interesting. Now, where did those astronauts go? What did they do? And then, of course, apparently, once they were in space, apparently, they then apparently had some problems with the toilet. As you do. I mean, we all have problems with the toilet, don't we? And but this toilet is a little bit different. Now, this toilet apparently cost $17.4 million. of course, it was paid for by the American taxpayers. Or should we say the bad gang. And then, of course, apparently, because the Artemis toilet had broken down, basically, and I want you to remember 17.4 million. 17.4 million. That number 17 keeps popping up, doesn't it? And then I want you to notice that the takeoff speed of the Artemis Explorer balloon, whatever you want to call it, was 17,000 miles an hour. That's quite interesting, isn't it? Not kilometers an hour, miles per hour. And then, of course, we come to, of course, well, what did they do? What did they do? Now, apparently, they used some NASA toilet bags. Now, these NASA toilet bags are basically £1 million each. These NASA toilet bags, and you can zip them up, and and zip them open. And I don't quite know what you do. I don't know how you get your poo in the bag. I don't know how you get your wee in the bag. I really don't. I mean, do you just do you pee in fresh air and then scoop it up with a bag? I'm not quite sure. I don't really know. I've not been an astronaut, and I don't particularly want to try and leave the firmament, which is an impossibility to leave anyway because of the Van Halen belt. Now, these 1 million bags, they look rather like the bags that you can buy in Aldi. Now, I don't know whether NASA do shop in Aldi or not, but I suggest that they do. Because, I mean, if you're paying 1 million for a bag that you can actually buy in Aldi's, something is seriously wrong with your accounting department. Very interesting. Now, meanwhile, M&S have had to have a word with Sadiq Khan. Now, M&S apparently are losing vast amounts of money all over the country, but especially in the Clapham area. Now, this was a new activity that has been invented by the youth of today, and the youth of today think it's a great idea to go into a shop, throw ammonia in people's faces, hospitalize staff, and basically rob goods. And it's an activity called steaming. Apparently, I'm not sure what the rules are, but apparently you get together on TikTok and you basically decide which shop you are going to target, and then you steam in there and take as much as you can. Prizes are given to the ones that take the most, and of course the goods are shared out to the local old age pensioners and charity shops. So yeah, very good, very good. And apparently, M&S have had to have a word with Sadiq Khan about it. I wonder how well that's going to go. Meanwhile, of course, the World Cup. Now, FIFA have come out with the new World Cup tickets. Some of the tickets are costing £8,000 each. £8,000 to go and watch 22 men kick a bag of oxygen around a fucking green field with lines and 2 goals. Not quite my idea of heaven, but anyway, there are plenty that fall for it. FIFA have come out and said that apparently fans around the world are outraged at the cost. And FIFA have come out and said, well, if you can't afford it, why don't you just go and get another job? Meanwhile, of course, the Formula One situation is, is going really well. We've got the ambassador of Formula One, Lewis Hamilton, who sometimes likes to dress up as a girl, wearing frocks and all kinds of stuff. Not really my idea of Sterling Moss or James Hunt or Barry Sheen, but anyway, that's up to Lewis. When you sell your soul to the devil, of course, you have to, of course, be prepared to dress up as a girl every now and again. Now, the Formula One ticket prices for Silverstone are around about £5,000 to £6,000 for the weekend. That, of course, doesn't include any food. It doesn't include any special privileges. And it certainly doesn't get you into the paddocks. No, that's you're not allowed into the paddocks because, of course, I mean, when you've got Lewis Hamilton walking around in a dress, it could be quite shocking for the average punter of Formula One. There we go. Now, this was in Brighton, I think. 3 illegal immigrants who came into the UK illegally, which is a crime. And were, of course, put up in a 4-star hotel, given caviar on the morning and salmon and eggs, 3 squares a day, plus all kinds of other things. They decided they want to have sex. So they decided to rape a woman on the beach. The main ringleader was a guy, a very good moral upstanding, who said that women always want it and need it. Very interesting. And he told the judge that rape is not rape. Rape is actually sex. I wonder if he was responsible for the cat. If you don't know the story about the cat, it's absolutely horrendous. Again, another illegal immigrant. And it's clear that the cultural activities of these third world people really doesn't sit very well with the culture of not only Great Britain, but the culture of France, Germany, as what's her name has found out, Angela Merkel has admitted that her desire to look after the migrants has actually ruined Germany. Little bit too late now, love, don't you think? The deed is done. But of course, when you are, of course, Hitler's sister, well, what do you expect? Sorry, Hitler's daughter, one of Hitler's daughters, along with Theresa May. You may, oh yes, Theresa May, Angela Merkel, and I can't quite remember the other girl's name. They're all in the same shitter, know what I mean? And what else have we got now? Let's have a look. Trump. Now, Trump did an absolute beautiful speech on, of course, Macron's wife. I actually don't know who is playing the part of Donald Trump, but let me tell you, the laughs just keep coming. Trump put on a French accent and said that Macron's wife, he punches like a man. It was absolutely brilliant. So yeah, big shout out to Donald Trump, the clone, whoever's playing Donald Trump. So anyway, meanwhile, of course, 40 countries got together in the European Union to have a chat about the Strait of Hormuz. Now, taking Keir Starmer's lead, where we just seem to be having a chat about things. So this once again is the way that people are dealing, the way that people are dealing with these crises, and of course we've got Starmer. Let's have a chat about the rape gangs. We're not going to do anything about it. We're just going to have a chat. And then, of course, we've Starmer organised to have a chat about the sewerage that is being pumped into British waterways. Yes, let's just have a chat about it. We're not going to pull anybody, around the ear hole, of course, but we're just going to have a chat. Let's have a chat about the rape gangs. Let's have a chat about the fact that we should be opening up the oil fields because of our energy crisis that we've got at the moment. We should also, let's have a chat about, the illegal migrants. Let's have a chat about the boats. I know what I'll do. I'll send Mahmoud over to France to have a word with the French and give them £16 million over the next 2 months to improve the boat situation. Because, of course, Starmer's main tactic, of course, is that it's not his fault, it's everybody else's. So let's blame the EU. Let's blame France for the boat crisis. Let's blame Brexit. I mean, now Keir Starmer is, of course, blaming President Putin for bringing in illegal immigrants into the UK. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think that's logistically possible. Logistics, of course, means travel, movement. So, yeah, very interesting, isn't it? That nothing, of course, is Keir Starmer's fault. And then, of course, we come to Eco Ed Miliband. Now, Eco Ed apparently has... when I look at Eco Ed, the word that comes to mind immediately is a fucking raving loony, right? A raving loony. And, Ed Miliband is the guy that is basically not only destroying the country, but basically trying to bring in net zero, which is absolutely impossible to achieve. Let me tell you, it's impossible. There's no way it's going to happen. There's going to be a lot of stupid people buying electric cars and trying to pretend that they are doing something for the environment when they're doing fuck all. Someone said to me the other day, oh, Mark, what do you burn on your log burner? And I said, well, I burn wood. Well, and this person said to me, well, is it the right type of wood? Said, what the fuck do you mean? Right? So, this person gave me the right type of wood, which was a log that looked like a bit of wood. And he said, we buy our logs from a very special place. Oh, yes, these logs are amazing. Try one, Mark. Try a log. Okay, so I tried the log, and lo and behold, did you know that it burnt exactly the same as the logs that I'd been burning? Now, I, of course, have access myself to felling trees, etc., etc. And so I get my logs from the same sort of trees that said person did. The difference is that my logs are free and his logs were quite a lot of money. but of course, he's under the illusion that his logs are better. So I just let these people carry on. Now, in regards to EcoEd, coming back to EcoEd, my question is, why hasn't Starmer sacked him or got rid of him or moved him into some mad lunatic asylum? It's quite an interesting one. And then we finally got to, I think it was yesterday or the day before, Rachel Reeves has finally realised after 30 years of being in Parliament that we might have to open up the oil fields in Scotland. Now, you know what's coming, don't you? What's going to happen next is the coal fields are going to open, and also the gas fields are going to open as well, which is quite an interesting one, really. But of course, as you well know, the colonial British establishment has basically their job is to de-industrialise the world, because of course they don't want people being entrepreneurs. They don't want people making any money. They don't want people enjoying life. Definitely. So what else have we got? Oh, yeah. Now we've got Colleen Rooney. Now, Colleen, I don't know whether you know, but Colleen is celebrating her 40th birthday, or should we say 40 years of prostitution. Now, Colleen, of course, is married to Wayne Rooney. Now, if you know anything about Wayne Rooney, you will, of course, realise that why I say that Colleen is celebrating 40 years of prostitution and selling her soul to the devil. Now, there's a big spread in the paper about Colleen is going to be a powerful modern woman as she moves forward. And yes, and girls across the country can look up to Colleen Rooney as a role model for femininity and what should we say, femininity and womanhood, so to speak. Now, let's just have a look at Colleen's crime sheet. Colleen has endured numerous betrayals. She's also endured numerous affairs by said Wayne. It was only a few weeks ago where Wayne was seen out in Manchester town with, of course, two younger girls than Colleen. Very interesting. Wayne, of course, has had numerous sexual encounters with grandmas, yes, grandmas, and probably all kinds of other things. But of course, the dollars matter to Colleen, and Colleen is probably like most other what I call money women. Who basically will do anything and put up with anything just because, you know, the money talks. Know what I mean? And, of course, if you want your daughter to grow up like that, well, that's entirely up to you, but it's certainly not a daughter that I would wish for, or not a daughter that I would teach either. There's probably a high possibility that Colleen has probably been beaten. Yes, there is. Okay. Now, yesterday, Greece went red. Greece went red yesterday. Apparently, some sand from the Sahara had been whipped up by Storm Dave in England, and Dave had delivered it onto the island of Greece. Now, people apparently were walking around in a red haze. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Meanwhile, of course, in the UK, we're waiting for Storm Dave to get back to us, because Storm Dave doesn't seem to have done anything at the moment. But you never know. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after. We're just not quite sure. Anyway, now William has wished Dame Deborah James. Now, Deborah James is the woman that she's had bowel cancer, I think, or some. She's had some cancer anyway, and she's been made a dame. Now, apparently, she's been doing like some charity work and stuff, and all this kind of thing. And so William gives her a ring, and gives her a ring because her Bowel Babe fund has hit £20 million. 20 million. And of course, William is sniffing round the fund. He's sniffing round the pot. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if William, of course, has something to do with that fund in some way, shape or form. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? And the fact that Deborah James is a dame also makes me believe that there is something a little more fishy going on. Anyway, it of course reminds me of Captain Tom. Now remember Captain Tom and the £65 million that never went to the NHS. But of course, people that we know gave hundreds of pounds to Captain Tom. It was a national fucking fundraising event, organised by, of course, the BBC, organised by every fucker else, organised by so many celebrities. I think a lot of celebrities pretended that they put their hand in their pocket for Captain Tom. And then, of course, we found out that Captain Tom's daughter was squirreling away the money for a jacuzzi and a new swimming pool. Very interesting. And we're still not sure where that 65 million was accountable for, because there certainly hasn't been any accounts published, not that I know to anyway. And then, of course, it brings us to the NHS fundraising department. Now, I didn't know that the NHS had a fundraising department, but yes, every NHS hospital in the country has a department that is fundraising for the NHS, and they put on coffee mornings and tea mornings and fucking do all kinds of stuff to raise money for the NHS. Now, the one NHS fundraising department I dealt with was during the COVID-19 situation. And I dealt directly with the NHS fundraising department in my area. And I was flabbergasted to find out that there were 120 people in an office somewhere in one of the hospitals that were basically fundraising as a job. It was their job to fundraise and get money. And they were phoning up every Tom, Dick and Harry, and all kinds of shit was going on. I was really actually quite surprised. Certainly opened my eyes. Now, then we come, of course, to the rather celebrity couple that we see on the stage. This, of course, is Stacey and Joe. Now, it seems as though Stacey, who is, was she on, she was on, not Strictly, She was on, Stacey was on, anyway, she was on one of the programs. Not Get Me Out of Here. One of the one with Simon Cowell on. You know the one I mean. Anyway, she was on that recently as well. Simon Cowell disappeared. Stacey's turned up. She does quite a lot of programs as well, sort of sorting out people's problems. And Joe does a bit of cooking every now and again. Yeah, but it seems though that they've got a dodgy marriage. And the marriage, of course, of this celebrity couple is, of course, not all it's cracked out to be. Now, Joe, of course, was he in Coronation Street or something like that? This dodgy marriage that they're in is basically hoodwinks you into believing that this is a real couple, when in actual fact they're not. And of course, as we always say at the end of our show, sit yourselves at 40,000 feet and watch the pantomime unfold in front of your eyes. It is now 11:11, and so I think that's a good time to end. Take care, love you loads, and we will see you again later on.